Welcome back to the Packweight Show. We have got a very special episode for you today where we are finally all in person in the same city. My co-hosts John and Frank, and we've got some high quality equipment for you, and we've got our great friend Chris Van Der Merwe here. We're finally catching up with him. How are you doing, Chris?
Good guys. Thank you for having me on this amazing show. Super amped to be here.
Thanks for coming out so early, bro.
Yeah, it's like nice and early.
Yeah.
Such a pleasure to have you, man. And we also had a really nice skate session Thursday night. We had
that was sick.
A little competition. Chris and the homies from I2B came through, and it was just so awesome to all skate together.
Yeah, it was good fun, hey? I can't think how many years we didn't skate together, right?
Yeah.
Just to see Byron rolling on his skates, I was like, wow, I haven't seen that in a long time.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it was good fun. Wow.
And at least we had no major injuries, so yeah, watch out for that skate edit coming soon.
Yeah.
And we got some nice footage there, and we're just excited to be rolling and getting stuff going again.
Yeah. No, thanks for supporting, Chris, on these little ventures. Yeah, means a lot. Shock, bro.
Yeah, I think the kids enjoyed it the most.
Yeah.
I remember when we were driving home, the kids kept on saying, "This is the best day ever."
Dude,
they were so stoked, dude. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they loved it.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man, because it just reminds me of how much, after the skate session, all the times back in the day, we'd just be so excited and amped and watching footage that we had from that day, and just really good vibes after the session.
Yeah, me too. I mean, when I was driving back, I just had this stoked feeling, just satisfied feeling.
I actually struggled to sleep because I put on one of our the one with Morgan. I was just getting inspiration from Morgan, telling his story and all that stuff, and I just was so amped up from that session. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Oh, it was really good. We had a good turnout as well, and the guys that won the competition, Regan and Wayden came third, Regan.
And then Corsi,
Corsi won the comp. Oh, it was definitely one to remember.
Yeah, I mean, I think Regan and Wayden was because it's the first time that I think Corsi beat them. And they were both yo, Atinkosi. And that's why Atinkosi was also so stoked, because it's the first time that he actually took an advanced comp,
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that trick, the backside to true top on that steep rail, that was definitely
that rail was really scary, and the guys were putting themselves out there, they really were going huge.
Yeah.
So what a stoke. It was really exciting to see that.
Yeah.
And big shout out to Lino Skate Shop and Janice. You guys, thank you so much for helping us with the competition. And anyone watching, make sure you get your skate stuff from Lino Skate Shop. And we thank them for their support. It's beautiful to see.
Yeah, they always support our contest also, so they're a huge help to the community in South Africa. Yeah.
Legendary. So maybe you want to start us with the beginnings of your rollerblading story. When did you get your first pair of skates, and what got you into it?
Wow, man. How much time do we have?
Take us back.
Yeah, I think I started in the 90s when the hype of rollerblading was just everywhere. So I got my game skates, the black and purple game skates.
The neon wheels, always.
Yeah, well, no, they didn't have neon ones.
Oh, really?
It's just the normal purple and black.
Okay.
And I think I started rollerblading first before my brother, my older brother.
Okay.
And then he started rollerblading also. So he was in high school, I was in primary school, I was 11 years old. They started playing roller hockey. And I remember we went to go pick them up one night. They played roller hockey in the evening, which was also quite cool, doing it in the evening. And when we went to go pick them up, he came to the car and he said, "Chris, watch this." And he skated away without his hockey stick. And he jumped in the air and he did this 360. Yeah. And my mind was blown. I was that's the coolest thing ever, doing a 360 on rollerblades. And I was that's what I want to do, And I think from there on, I just wanted to get better in blading. And that's when I started, I think, seeing like, what was those videos, you know, Dare to Air, Mad Beef. Like we actually had a pharmacy in our town. So the town I grew up is called Virginia, in the middle. It's in the middle of South Africa, middle of Free State. I mean, I wouldn't even expect rollerblading to reach that town, you know.
Yes.
But it did. And a pharmacy sold rollerblades.
Yeah.
They were selling
and like
oxygens. You remember the oxygens?
Oxygens, really?
Oxygens, but not the aggressive
But
ones.
not the tanks. Okay.
the other ones, they look kind of like alien boots.
Yeah, they
these
were
like,
very expensive, and they were like the skates, you know, when we didn't really know what aggressive skates were.
and I think the brake system on there, if you pushed your foot forward, it had this like thing that the brake would come down for you. You didn't have to lift your.
It was like quite futuristic.
I remember those. They were super cool for the time. They were like technology, you know.
Yeah. I knew the richest guy in our town had it. Everyone else settled for game and ticket specials.
There he goes.
But that same shop, later on they sold the Rossies, also the red Rossies,
the pharmacy.
You know, the pharmacy, yeah. And for some reason they had Dare to Air.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Did they sell videos?
They
skate
sold
videos.
What? I remember they sold Dare to Air, and we bought that video. And
VHS
we
now.
watched it.
Hey, at this time,
And 11, 12-year-old kids, you know, like watching Dare to Air, like after Dare to Air, we go skating in the street and just imagine like we can go big, you know.
Yes.
But I think that's where my inspiration started. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't come from skateboarding or anything before. The first thing was kind of roller hockey, and then from there more into aggressive.
Yeah, rollerblading from 11 years.
Yeah. Wow, dude. That's crazy. And that's all in Free State, obviously.
Yeah. Free State, I think we started, like I had a friend that had family in Johannesburg.
Okay.
So the first time that we went to Johannesburg, I think it was probably like maybe when we were grade 8, you know, standard 6. He would like invite us and say like, let's go to, Gauteng, you know. So Pretoria, Johannesburg. So I think the first skate park we went to was probably Thrashers.
Okay.
You know, and to go to like a proper skate park was, I mean, that was mind blowing. Hey?
Yeah. Were there any parks in Virginia?
No. I think the closest park was probably Pretoria.
Okay.
And then only later on, Bloemfontein started with something here and there, you know. And I think when I was probably about 16 years old was maybe the first time that I went to Kailami. And you know, seeing, I think probably all you guys were there the first time that I went there. I still remember putting on my skates. I think I was a bit older. I think I was 17. It's the first time I went to Kailami. And I think what happened was, I went with my friend there the first time, and then the second time was when I still played rugby in high school. So I went to like a Craven week, and it was somewhere in Gauteng, you know. So after that, I was so excited to go to Kailami. So I didn't even really worry about like the whole rugby thing. I just wanted to afterwards go to skate Kailami. And my dad took me, and I put on my skates. And as I put on my skates, he looked at my hands, and my hands were like shaking.
No
he was like, and I'm sure like he was thinking in his mind, like, what's going on? You know?
I thought this was supposed to be fun.
What? And I'm shaking. He's like, Chris, calm down. But I was so nervous, but also so excited, you know, and just seeing the guys. Like, I remember, I think you guys played Pop a Trick on one of the grind boxes, and you did like a Unity. You did a Savannah, so you guys played Pop a Trick, and I was coming on the side, and you did a Savannah, and I was like, okay, should I also do it now? And you guys were like, yeah, sure. And then I went and I did like a Unity, you know, like a normal Unity, and you guys were like, well, that was wrong. Really.
That sounds judgy.
And I was like, what? It was the same trick.
Nice try, you get leather.
Yeah. But yeah, it was amazing to see the guys fly over the box. I couldn't even clear like the launch box, you know. And I think I asked Herman or someone, how do you clear the whole thing? You know, it's so difficult. But yeah, that was good time.
It was really difficult to clear that box. at the
was
beginning.
good,
Like
yeah.
I remember it took me ages to do it,
Yeah.
you know, because I never had the speed or the amplitude to do that. And the very first time that I managed to clear it with a 360 was because like Arlo was psyching me up.
Oh yeah.
He was here and he was like, yeah, just, you know, you got this. Just
Yeah.
just push to get over.
Yeah,
the
just
edge
right
and-
to the
pop
top,
out,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah. And like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that fun box you got by you, I mean, it's quite a similar design, I would say.
It's similar, but it's
Yeah.
definitely smaller. Like,
Is it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the stuff
It's
Brent
shorter.
did, the
on
stuff
the
Brent also did higher stuff, higher, bigger. Like everything was.
Massive.
Yeah, I toned it down a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing, dude. And so when did you move sort of up north to, did you stay in Pretoria?
Yeah. So during high school, I kind of rollerblading was always just like a side thing for me, like a thing you do after you did your real sport. You know, you go over the weekend, hang out with your mates, and rollerblade, which was probably best, you know, because it was just a passion thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I was probably grade 10 or 11. We had we were in Margate for a holiday, and there were this like group of rollerbladers, you know, like I don't even, they stopped skating after a while, I think, because they're not in the scene anymore. But I just remember seeing them wearing like these Senate clothes, and I was like, I was quite like inspired, you know, because I could see these guys they were like the real deal, you know. So I was probably maybe a little bit younger, like maybe 15, and I still put on my skates the one day, and I went to kind of like the spot where everyone skates, and they were somewhere else on a tennis court, and I went past them, and we started chatting, and they were like, "So are you serious about rollerblading?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like I just rollerblade for the fun?" And they were like, "No, we are serious. We are."
No ways.
Yeah, I can't remember what his words were, but maybe he's saying like, you know, they're going for making it a career or whatever. I can't remember what words he used, but
They were a bit older?
yeah, a little bit older. But I could see they were like, you know, by just everything they did was rollerblading, you know. And I was quite inspired, but I never thought of rollerblading in that way. But that triggered something in my mind, like, man, you could actually maybe think about doing rollerblading almost as a career, which is like, whoa, dude, that's weird. But, you know, is that even possible, you know? And I
What
mean,
a
if
dream to have.
it is, like, it can be like, so it wasn't my dream for a very long time, you know? But I think that, like, that holiday when I was 15 years old, but it was also quite weird because they would be like kind of hanging out on the tennis court and I would be the one rollerblading. I thought they were the serious ones. But yeah, I think that triggered something in my mind, you know. What was the question?
Is that what made you decide to move to Pretoria?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So eventually, I think what happened was I played Craven Week in grade 11 and grade 12, and that got me a bursary at Tukkies, you know.
All right.
But in the back of my mind, I was always like, I either want to go to Cape Town, Pretoria, or Johannesburg, you know. Johannesburg, like Rao, I thought quite a lot about because I was like, that's where the Roses team is. And, you know, so I was looking up to the Roses team like a lot, and I was thinking if I could get in with those guys, like maybe, you know, I could start making rollerblading like a bit of a career type thing. But then, like, I started connecting with a lot of the Pretoria guys, and I think I met them at either the third or fourth Alex Groll Cup, you know, because I only went to the third one, I think, and that's where I started meeting them. So I connected with them a lot. They're like more Afrikaans guys, and so we gelled really lekker. And and I think that helped me to kind of decide on Pretoria, but also getting the bursary in Pretoria. And Cape Town was just also kind of too far away, you know, from my family. So that's why I ended up deciding on Pretoria.
Oh man.
When I finished matric, I went straight to Tukkies, you know,
Okay.
for studies, yeah.
What did you study?
BCom Communication Management.
Okay.
So it was a 3-year degree. So I went into my first year playing rugby and played for Tukkies, and then the second year, so that year I was still just doing rollerblading kind of as a fun thing. but I did actually make like a rail back at home, and so like a rail that you can, like a portable rail that you can set up. I think it was 14 meters long, and it was broken up into like 14 meters long. Yeah,
that's long, bro.
Yeah,
Yo.
and it broke up into like seven 2-meter pieces, you know.
Wow.
And I loaded all of that onto a trailer, hooked the trailer onto my car, and took that whole thing to Pretoria. You know, the trailer with the rail that you can set up. Oh, my dad actually took the trailer back, and I left the rail there. I just tied it to, chained it to like one of the trees.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people.
Where did you leave it? Sorry.
Right next to the res where I was living.
Okay.
So I stayed in the res.
Just to a tree outside.
Yeah. So I chained it, and then when we would skate it, like Chris and Neil and the guys would come to my res, and we would just set it up in the parking lot, like this 40-meter rail. It went straight, and then down, and then straight again.
Sick.
But it was it was cool, but it was like a proper rail, you know.
Yeah.
Just, but like all the guys that I played rugby with would be like, what is this guy on about? Like he plays rugby for Rays and for Tuks, and now he skates, you know. They were just so confused. And in my second year, I had a concussion, a very bad injury, so I couldn't really do the trials.
From skating or
from rugby?
From rugby.
Yeah. So I didn't get selected for the Tuks team.
What position did you play?
Like fullback and wing.
Okay, sick.
Yeah, but then it's funny that we're talking about rugby.
I know.
But yeah, so that's when I because what happened was I went to the manager and I said, listen, I got an injury, and then he said, well, you can go practice with the C team and build yourself up, you know. And I still remember I took my talks, that's what you call my talks.
What is that?
That's your boots, your rugby boots, you know.
Yeah.
And I went and I sat next to the practice and I checked them warming up, and I was like, I'm either going to walk in here and tell them, hey guys, the manager said I can start joining, or I'm just going to leave this and kind of stop playing this rugby thing that I'm not really passionate about, and start rollerblading like every single day and make that my sport, you know.
Yeah.
And really that making that switch, I got so excited, and I was so amped because I've been kind of wanting to do this for a long time, but that was the point.
The opportunity.
Like, nah, I'm done with all sports. I'm just gonna rollerblade every single day, and from that day on, like I literally rollerbladed every day.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sure you would have noticed a lot of progression from that time as soon as you were skating every day.
Because my mind started focusing on like, you know, learning new tricks. And
isn't that around about the time you started doing shows with us?
No.
I was trying to think when we first actually met you. I can't like pinpoint a time and place. You remember? Probably Kaiwan, more than likely.
So the first Alex Groll Cup that I went to, I was still like, no one kind of knew me, because I'm like coming from the Free State. And I still remember I entered the contest, the Alex Groll Cup, and I asked everyone, what should I enter? And Frank, you were still sitting there, and I think you asked me like 1 or 2 questions, and then you said, well, enter beginner, and then we can bump you up if needed. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because I've never skated any contest in my life, you know. I think I was 17 years old then. So I skated beginner. So that's when I met Frank for the first time. And all you guys were there, obviously.
Yeah.
I skated beginner. And the first trick I did was like down the rail. And was like, I think a top acid, you know. Nice. And
all the other beginners were like,
all the other beginners were like, why is this guy in beginner? Then some guys asked me, why are you beginner? And I was like, well, the guy said he'll bump me up.
So you're going to win beginners, then they bump you up to intermediate, you're going to win that.
But I never got bumped up yet. And
I mean, if you've never skated a comp, it's obvious.
I didn't know
makes sense.
Sure. In beginner, because you don't know.
Yeah,
no one knows.
Exactly.
I've never seen him skate. I didn't know what his skating was like. So
I also didn't know if it was a good trick. I just thought this is like a basic trick, you know. I'm going down the rail forwards, you know.
It's
like,
easy.
It is. And I mean, I couldn't do much on the launch box. I think I maybe tried a 180 over the launch box. I maybe tried a bio because I I don't know if I even did, but I know the guys were not very happy that I won beginner, because I won beginner. But I was so stoked because I got my first medal. I still took it to my high school, because the headmaster at one point said, if you got any achievements outside of school sports, you can bring it and we'll, give you acknowledgement for it.
That's so
So
cool.
I was like, cool, that's great. Let me take my medal. But obviously I was playing rugby and cricket and everything still. And when I took my medal to the headmaster, he looked at it and he was like, well, this is not a sport, or it's not a recognized sport in South Africa, so sorry, we can't give this to you.
Really?
So, and that also got me like that little bit of, man, I want to,
Show them.
yeah, I want to show them this is like a real sport. So I think that all of that also helped me start thinking about maybe I could kind of push this, not as a career maybe, but just see, how far we can get with
Like
this
legitimize what you're doing, basically.
Yeah, and also at one point we were at like this cricket, like a cricket tour, and cricket, you many times sit next to the field because you're not batting, and so you're talking a lot. And I told a lot of the guys and the teacher, like or the coach, like I want to maybe one day become a professional rollerblader. It's just in the back of my head, and the coach said, well, that's impossible, a kid from the Free State, like you don't skate any ramps, like that's like the American thing, it's not a South African thing.
Yes.
And and I was like, well, if someone else can, if an American guy can do it, then we're also human, we should be able to do it if you put the work in.
Yeah.
And so things like that made me also think like, I really want to not show them, but I really want to do this,
Yeah.
Yeah, just legitimize it, like to be taken seriously in all the work you're putting into something, your dedication to something.
Yeah.
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 What skates did you have then? I think it was, because I remember seeing you, I think they were like rollerblade TRSs maybe.
So then...
Was that a bit later?
Yeah. So coming to that beginner contest, obviously in the Free State it was difficult to get like aggressive skates, and it was also very expensive. But my one friend who had a bit more money, he bought a pair of Roses Kutais. You remember the Roses Kutais? Before the Roses Kutais, actually, I had the Oxygen Argons that I bought secondhand from someone. I think that was my first proper. Oh no, my first aggressive skates was the Upside Downs. You remember the Upside Downs?
Or
Yeah.
like the old Thrones, or
No, the
Cyrus.
they were called, the Cyrus. They were still called Upside Down, and that's just when they just came out. That was my first aggressive skate, so that was also like a big jump for me.
Yeah.
But I built a lot of stuff at my house, So my dad and I, we would build like a rail, and we built like a little steel ramp. Awesome. So my house was like a mini little skate park,
That's awesome.
Yeah. And what happened then was I got the Oxygen Argons, those aggressive ones that I bought secondhand. I had that for a while, and normally
Tanks.
I saw something, whenever I saw like secondhand skates, someone wants to sell it, I try to get those,
Yeah.
Where would you find that? See that?
There were like quite a couple of guys on rollerblades in my town already, and some of the guys, the older guys, they bought aggressive skates already.
Especially the guys at the pharmacy saying,
well, everyone quickly found out, okay, these are the guys who's rollerblading in town. It's a small town, so you kind of very quickly knew who are the rollerbladers. So they are like 5 years older than you, but you quickly know these are the guys, and that guy has the Majestic 12s, and this guy has, so what skates everyone has, and if they want to sell, like the word goes quick, everyone
so
knows he's selling, and then you have to be on it because I couldn't really afford like brand new skates all the time, and then so after the Argons, the one guy was selling the M12s, the black and red ones, and I really liked them, so I got them. I think that was the skates that helped me progress a lot. But then, and I would always pass my old skates down to the next guys, because I wanted more rollerbladers to skate with. And then after that, I got the skates from my friend that, he bought the Kutais, and it was definitely too big for him, so it was way too big for me. But he kind of stopped skating and he left it, I think, at my house, and I started skating with it, and I never really even bought it from him. I just started skating his skates.
Thanks for that.
I hope he's not watching this video. And I went to the contest with those skates, and everyone called it like, yo, that guy on the boat.
The boots.
It was a size 12. I'm a
That's
size
why you
8.
couldn't air the box, bro.
Yeah, dude, I was a size 8, and that was a size 12.
Wow.
12.
But the crew ties were so, like, you know, they were so puffy, and so they didn't maybe look that big. And I got used to these big things on my feet, but I think everyone else was like, that guy skating with the boats. You know, I remember people referred to me, I think even you guys referred to me as the guy skating with the boats.
No, never.
I'm sure.
And where was that comp? Was it Century City?
That was the Alex Groll Cup at, the park was built,
In
I think it was 2000.
At the top of
In the parking lot or
No,
like?
no, it was on top of
Okay.
the,
So then
the park was built,
2001.
everything, 2001.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
that
when
was the one, yeah.
All the graph and it was like the first big one in the
Yeah,
mall.
yeah,
Okay.
and I mean that also ignited a lot of
Yeah.
passion in me because
Yeah.
I saw how, and then I realized, man, if I can come back next year, it would be amazing, you know.
That's kind of the same time Earl debuted too.
Abrams.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was him and Lloyd as well,
yeah.
and Chris came into the scene.
I wanted to go to the 2001, but I was on a cricket tour, and I remember coming back from it. I saw like everyone talking about Alex Groll Cup, and I was like, wow, dude, I just missed this whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
And then I started dreaming about 2001 coming to this thing, and I didn't make the cricket team that year, so I was actually
Conveniently.
I was actually stoked because now I could skate my first comp ever, Alex Groll Cup 2001,
Yes.
and then 2002. So from then on, every comp I tried to go to, you know.
Yeah.
I think that was 2002. Well, 2003 I think was the last SA Champs, you know, and that's the only SA Champs that I ever skated.
2003 was the last one.
I think it was the last
At
SA
Kailami.
Champs at Kailami,
Yeah.
but it was also my first one.
Yes.
You know? So I'm happy that I at least had one SA
Yeah.
Champs at Kailami
Wow, that
with you
seems
guys.
quite early for it to have stopped.
Yeah.
That was the July mid-year
Yeah.
nationals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nationals.
I think the focus became the Alex Cup at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so by then I skated beginner in 2001 at Alex Groll Cup, and then 2002.
Intermediate.
No, then I didn't even skate intermediate. Then I
You
was
went
just
straight to advanced.
Straight to advanced, you know. 'Cause I
We
really-
know you now.
Yeah, because
We were like, hey, buddy.
and I
The
really
money's
wanted
better in
to.
advanced.
You're getting bumped up.
Yeah.
And I just skated my heart out. I started doing flips and stuff because we started building some ramps at our town, you know. So we started getting like a small launch box and a quarter pipe. So I started learning like flips and stuff, and I wanted to do that at Alex Groll Cup. So when I went to that year, 2002, I did quite a lot of flips and stuff, and I didn't think I was going to get anything placed anywhere. But at the end of the contest, they had a prize for the most progressive skater, and you know I got that, and that also got me so stoked because I didn't expect that at all. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But coming from beginner to advanced,
It was like a most improved prize, I
Yeah,
remember,
yeah. And
From
I
the
think-
last
and
contest
I think
to
it was
the,
like
yeah.
they were like 300 rand or something, and I was just like, wow, really like winning money for rollerblading. That was amazing, man. Yeah.
The comps were always so inspiring and like so much hype. Like
Yeah.
the vibes with everyone
Yeah.
and just like such fun. Like,
Yeah.
And so many rollerbladers in one space.
Yeah.
And then also internationals always coming like Arlo and
Yeah.
the guys. It's just so epic.
So much
Yeah.
excitement.
My goal was just like, don't wreck yourself on the first day. 'Cause I would do that often.
Yeah.
Like on the first day warm-ups, you have a big crash and you like the rest of the weekend then dealing with either massive roasty
Yeah.
or some wrist
kind of
issues
fluid.
or
Yeah.
back problem, whatever.
Dude,
But that's nerves as well. It's
Yeah.
like
Mm.
getting that under control to be able to like ease into it and kind of
Nerves
gain
and the hype because you
big
get
game
so hyped
temperament.
up
Exactly.
and excited.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm just going to do this thing that I've always been wanting to do
Yeah,
and you've
overhyped.
never tried it. And then
with the Alex Groll Cup after that, at 2004 one, before my run, I had to take like 4 disciplines just to be able to skate because I was like
In
my
such
knees,
pain.
everything was so bad because I wrecked myself in all the
Yeah.
warm-ups and the stuff, you know.
What was the worst injury you had?
In all of my
Yeah.
skating.
Yeah.
Man,
So many.
Yeah, well, no, actually
Not
not
actually
so,
that
not so many.
serious.
Yeah, one time skating street, I got they were like these double king rails, you know, and I tried to do topsail on the king, through the king transfer to front side. I think it was, I don't know if it was a contest, but anyway, so what happened was my back foot came over the rail, and I kind of missed the whole top part of the rail, and I got sacked on the straight part.
Oh,
Dude.
And that was bad. Yeah.
The worst thing ever.
yeah. Okay.
No, that's serious, bro. Because who was that other guy? Was his name Johannes or something? He
Yeah.
split himself so bad,
Oh, yeah.
like he had to
From
have
Rustenburg.
surgery on his
Yeah.
testicle.
Oh, he lost the test.
Yeah.
Lost the
Oh,
test. My goodness, that is
But
terrifying.
I also
So
on the N1 King in Cape Town, I think I also cracked or broken a rib there, you know, and you guys know like Lloydie with the cracked rib now.
Your
Yeah,
ribs are
it's-
so
it's not
painful.
It's-
And you can't do anything. Like,
Yeah.
It's just wait it
And
out.
this hand is pretty messed up.
Oh
If
damn.
you look at it.
No?
Look at it. Like this, I think I broke this at one of the Alex Groll Cups or something, you know, because that's.
Yeah.
I don't know
yeah.
if it was broken, but you know, fingers too.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a bad in the
Pointing right.
fingers too.
Biggest break easily.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah, man.
Well, that's enough about injuries.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But-
that's a pretty good run in however many years of skating to kind of not have any serious surgeries or anything like that. Because a lot of
Yeah.
dudes, knees especially, and you know, I don't think you ever come back properly from those
Yeah.
big surgeries.
Yeah.
Like I know Rashad struggled a lot with his knee.
Yeah.
And any kind of hits to the head were really
Yes, hits to
scary.
the head
Yeah.
for sure.
Like, I remember Claudio hitting his head so hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hardcore.
That's where. That's also where I only met Claudio once, and that was at that
Woodstock.
No, the 2003
Yes.
nationals. You know,
Yes.
because I mean, it was crazy. There's so many skaters there,
There
right?
was a lot.
It's actually weird that was the last one. Hey.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It felt like it was because there's an edit of that, and that was MTN sponsorship. It was like a big one, 2003.
Yeah.
It's weird that it tapered off after that.
And I was so excited to skate that, and after the prelims or the prelims, I remember qualifying fourth, and that was my first nationals, you know. And to
Yeah.
qualify fourth, I was like, dude, I should just do like one or two better tricks, and I could maybe get a medal at nationals.
Yeah.
And that for me was so big, really. And we still stayed over at Andrew's house, and that night I literally couldn't sleep. The whole night I was awake thinking about what tricks I could just up a little bit, you know, and I was just that energy and that excitement, I couldn't fall asleep.
Crazy, eh?
And the next day when we started skating, I felt like I got zero energy, you know, I can't even skate.
I've stressed myself
Yeah,
out all night.
all night. Now I
Oh,
don't
no,
have any adrenaline left. All my adrenaline went through the night. And I skated so bad, like I fell on a lot of tricks, and I didn't skate very well.
Too much
So,
pressure on yourself, maybe.
Yeah, well, I made the finals, but I think I got lost in the finals or something like that, you know. Yeah.
But it does take, I remember also wasn't, like it took me a long time. I'd place like 15th,
Yeah.
12th, and you know, also I think I'd get, you were saying earlier, getting, you know, you couldn't afford new skates, and I remember I would get the Oaks that were on Team Rossi's when they got a new pair of skates. I knew those skates are all coming down to us. I'd get like Cliff's old skates and Jackson's old skates, and crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also remember comps. The first time I skated a comp, I came dead last in beginners. Like dead last. I was the worst rollerblader ever.
The worst to
Not a
enter the
good
comp.
feeling. Not a good feeling.
Yeah, to enter the comp. But I mean, it took a long time for me to like get hold of myself and calm myself down to just be able to do what I know I can do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, dude.
It's like a feat on its own.
Yeah.
It really is, and it's a difficult balance of wanting to do more technical tricks, but not falling.
Yeah.
Like the not falling aspect is so huge to it. Even if you do simpler tricks and I don't know, try to go faster and just stay on your feet, the landed tricks count for so much more than trying something more difficult and falling. So it was a really like tightrope to walk.
That contest format, I mean, obviously it's changed nowadays a bit, but it was quite hectic doing single runs. Like there was a lot of pressure when
Yeah.
it's like, okay, John, you're up next, and you're like, whew, okay. Your heart's going, and you're like, oh shit, you know, you've chosen the song, and then I think now with the more sort of jam session format, I feel like it's a lot friendlier to guys starting out, and just you kind of forget that you're in the contest. It feels more like a session. Yeah, I really dig that. I mean, each has their place and each has pros and cons, but I like the 5-person jam session type thing.
The only thing that can happen with those jams is the judges lose sight of the guy that's maybe not as good.
For
So
sure.
the top guy normally takes the show a bit, you know.
Yeah.
And that could be you could miss some stuff
Some
like
cool
that.
tricks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yo, but a 60-second run by yourself was so tiring.
Brutal.
It was, jeez. As
Yeah.
you say, the adrenaline, and then you're just like so gassed by the time
Yeah.
you've still got time for like another couple of tricks, and you're just like,
Yeah, contest skating is like it's something you have to learn
Practice.
how to do, you
Yeah.
know.
Especially coming from street skating, where there isn't that. I mean, there's other pressure. It's more like don't get hurt, but yeah, or you know, can perform the stunt. But yeah, it's a totally different environment to like perform in front of people at a specific time. Like you, whether you're ready or not, you have to do it. You know.
Also, in those times, there's a massive crowd always
Yeah.
watching. So there's like all these people.
Oh, your friends and
staring at
family
you.
are there. You don't want to disappoint people. Yeah, you don't want to look like. Yeah,
But that's
don't
why
wanna mess it up.
it's like a lot of respect goes out to the guys who can put down a 60-second run and do like very hard tricks,
Yeah.
because you have to. That's where consistency comes in, and that's where like I feel like a lot of guys can do those tricks on street, but it will take them like 5-6 goes maybe, you know. Where if you do it in a run, like that's where I feel like the guys that skate contests, they work really hard, you know. And you have to skate a lot to be super comfortable and consistent.
And fit even.
And fit,
Like,
yeah.
massive fitness.
perfect your line and land
Yeah.
tricks back to back to back.
Yeah.
It's really
Because
something.
I remember when I started practicing for like the international comps, I would like start working on my runs when I'm at like normal sessions, you know.
Yeah.
Because I realized if I want to do better at the international contest, I have to start practicing these things. I have to be able to do like a minute run, which was quite weird. It takes a bit of the
Fun out of it.
Yeah, the fun out of it and your focus out of it, you know. Or it changes your focus, you know. And I mean, I think there's a season for that maybe in your career, but yeah, it takes a lot of the fun out of it, you know.
I also did that. I also, when Monte Casino was still around, I used to train there every Tuesday and just skate until I'm exhausted to be able to build up that fitness to skate a run for 60.
Well, you're either going to go run 10Ks or you're just going to skate around. I rather skate, you know.
Yeah.
No, but that's exactly right. That it has to become muscle memory, because in the run you can't be thinking about, oh, where am I going and what am I doing.
Yeah.
It has to. You need the Zen mind of like, I'm not thinking about it. I'm just visualizing, and I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
But you mentioned street skating, and so had you been street skating that entire time around the comps, and what were the sessions like?
Yeah, so I've always been street skating, still, I think, till the point where I started kind of having my own park. And then, but then a lot of the scene started, the street scene, especially in Cape Town, started dying out a bit. And I think the convenience of having the park, skating the park a lot of the, it's weird, but when I had my park, like the rollerblade scene also started, in Cape Town, started fading a bit. And that I ended up skating a lot by myself in the skate park, you know. So I started skating less street. Also, when I started competing more, like I felt like I won a skate park anyways, you know, because that's where the comps are. And so that was probably around 2008 when I started skating less street, you know.
Yeah.
But every now and then you see something that you want to do and you still go for it, you know.
So when did you move down to Cape Town? Because you were at varsity in Pretoria.
Yeah. So when I finished my degree, 2005, and then 2006, I was like, okay, I want to. I applied to get into AAA, advertising school, I got in, and I was like, if I get in, then I'm going to move to Cape Town, you know. So I applied, got in, and I was pretty happy about that, you know, because by then I already got to know, you know, the Steve and you know, Earl and the guys, and I was like, yo, it's going to be fun coming here, you know, studying here, and you know, skating with them.
Getting to skate with them.
Yeah.
No, that's so cool. So that was around 2005, 2006 time, and then I imagine we were doing Roll One sort of from around that time as well. It started in 2002, 2003, and earlier. And when did we get involved with you on the Roll One side of things?
2004. I remember the exact place where you approached me. You know?
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was at the Alex Groll Cup inside the mall by the registration table.
Not at the pharmacy.
Yeah, not at the pharmacy. And I think you had a Roll One T-shirt, and you came up to me and you're like, "Hey Chris, would you want to skate for Roll One?"
What?
I was like, "Dude, my first sponsorship."
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, "Yes, dude." And you gave me the T-shirt, and it was that blue one with the green at the bottom. And this was the first sponsored thing I ever got for rollerblading. So I mean, that was like a you know, like a beacon in my career, bro.
Amazing, dude. Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah,
you
dude.
stuck out to us from the beginning, really, as someone who's just like on this path for sort of greatness, you know, and obviously within your skating, but also what you kind of gave back to skating, especially now after your sort of competitive career slowed down, how much you've given back, and to sort of feel that we're any sort of little part of that is like, you know, it's just really cool that we can sit here, how many, 20 plus years later,
Yeah.
and talk about that. Like, I'd forgotten about that,
Yeah.
actually. I don't know how that happened, but I remember it was like you were kind of the first person we had in mind, and we wanted more people to see your skating and to kind of, you know, try to build up this sort of a Senate team, you know, that's like the old Senate days, and some like team that everyone wanted to get on and like had just these killers on them, you know. And then obviously we filmed for Stereotype, and well, it came out in 2005, so we were probably filming that in like 2004. But I mean, you had a great section there, killer section. Yeah, I remember at that stadium, and we filmed a lot of it down here, actually.
Yeah. That's that street comp.
Yes,
Yeah.
dude, and you did that like in-spin soul down that big
yeah.
rail. The other, I mean, I think the end banger of your section is that top soul and that big rail, then gap over the railing into the athletics track.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the last
Oh,
trick in your
that's
section.
I thought that was Pretoria though. And
Yeah, that was.
Oh,
two
that is
different
Pretoria.
comps.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
the
yeah.
comp that's why I asked you guys, because I remember you guys were running some street comps, and that was the street comp that I think Roll One did. You know.
Probably.
And did you call it Keep It Roll or something?
yeah,
Yeah, that was for Gaz. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys did that one, but we normally did one in Cape Town also after the Alex Groll.
Yes.
You guys would do like a street comp, you know.
Yeah.
These folks aren't broken enough. Like, after the contest, let's have another one in the
Yeah.
streets that's going to be even harder for less cash.
but it was also that was the real shit.
Yeah,
because
it's
like
true.
comps was like, oh, this is corporate and this is like whatever. It's just skate park, where like the real burly stuff happened out in the streets,
Yeah.
and the hype of those competitions was serious, dudes throwing themselves down rails.
Yeah.
Maybe we want to look at a few picks, B.
Yeah,
I think,
let's start with where we're at. I mean, Chris is doing a 450 back royale on quite a big rail here, and
That is wild, actually, Chris.
probably one of the sickest.
Hurricane?
things.
Is it a hurricane back row? 450 back row,
Yeah.
same thing.
450 back roll.
Yeah. Yes, I remember you in those skates, the shadows of the red cuffs.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Like I didn't skate for Shadow over here yet, but I had like the skates before this.
We need to know about that as well. I don't know too much about that, but
Okay.
how that all came
Yeah.
about.
Well, I had one pair of Shadows before this. This was my first pair of Shadows, the red one, the Jeff Stockwell. And Ryan, what's his surname? Ryan from Australia, man. Dude, I'll get his name later. but yeah, he was. I'm trying to get his name. He's the guy he's like the most stylish skater in Australia. Why can't I get his name? Anyway, so he said, because I told him how many aggressive skates I've had in my life. It was maybe like 4 or 5 pairs, you know. And he was like, "What? Are you serious, dude?" And he was like, "Dude, take my skates."
What?
And this was at the this was after the first X Games that I did in Shanghai.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Dude, take my skates." So I took his skates. He had the white shadows, and I had the red shadows. So I took all the parts and I mixed it up.
Combined them.
And that's how I got because these skates are unique. No one has them, you know,
Yeah.
like the white and red. I really loved those skates, you know,
Yeah.
the white and red shadows, you know. But yeah, like a crazy thing about this clip. So we actually have like a little edit online of this
On
also.
Eric's YouTube.
It's on my what's the Vimeo channel,
Yes.
you know.
Okay, cool.
And you can see my camera. Oh, that's Eric's tripod, but there's like my camera set up here as like also on a tripod. And I still had those films, you know, all those little tapes.
Yes, yeah, mini DV tapes
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah.
It was like the first HD
Yeah.
tape.
So this took me many goes. So I would try it, fall, and then after a while I saw, okay, the tape ran out, and then I had to change it. And so I changed the tape, and I think I did only 2 tries, and then I landed the whole thing, you know. And then probably like a week after that, the camera got stolen with that tape in it. You know? The one where I land the trick, bro.
No.
Can you believe it? It got stolen, and then what I did was I did a back Roy in the warm-ups. I just did a normal back Roy down the rail, and then what I did was when I made the edit, I took the spin when I landed, and then halfway
And then
down
finished it
I
with
would
it.
cut to the back Roy
Yes.
ending, like from a different angle, you know.
Yes.
So
Your secret's out.
no, but then it was so funny. So this the edit I made actually went onto Roller News.
Oh,
I think it's
sick.
the video that got one of the most views.
Really?
I think
Amazing.
because of this whole cut thing, you know, and it definitely got the most comments.
Yeah.
You know,
I
because people
remember
started
that.
commenting saying like, "Yo, this
He didn't
guy
do
he
it."
didn't do the trick. He faked
No
it.
way.
He faked it."
Oak's calling you
I was
out.
calling it out. It's like, obviously he faked it. Why didn't he show the whole trick? You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's true, like, you know, it isn't the actual
but-
clips. But then I had to tell the story of the one
No
where I
way.
landed it. The tape of the evidence got stolen. How convenient.
Yeah.
And it sounded like such a story, really.
Yeah.
But then the others were like, yo, look at the photo, because they did put the photo
Okay.
in. And then everyone's like, oh, that's easy to edit also, you know.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes,
well.
but remember Rolling News? I mean, that
Yeah.
was actually, well, internationally before, I don't know, any sort of website, that was the first one that everyone would get
Yeah, dude,
the
Rolling
news
News.
from.
Yeah, it was
You
kind
can
of
get-
before the social media days.
Before
It was
social
kind of
media, that's what I meant.
Before
Sorry.
Yeah.
like when Facebook and all that stuff started, it kind of fell off of it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It
was
was
a good place to
massive
go.
at that stage.
Yeah.
I go on there every day and see what is happening.
Yeah.
And they did cover skating from all over the
Yeah.
world. It wasn't.
So that was when I started skating at the X Games. It felt like the guys didn't know me very well, so I wanted to get noticed a bit better. So my aim became like make a street edit. So I almost made a street edit every month.
Wow.
I put out a lot of edits, and I wanted to get onto Roller News, you know, because I knew if I could get onto Roller News, that would maybe help me. So when I get to the contest, the judges at least know me a little bit, you know.
And that's what sponsors want to see. They want,
Yeah.
they want to see that content coming out.
So that's also when I got sponsored, I realized, okay, I also have to push out a lot of edits. So I started pushing out a lot of the edits, you know.
Sick. I mean, this is one of my favorite
Yeah,
shots.
that's
Shout out.
amazing.
Shout out
Eric.
Eric.
And I
Legend.
also want to say, like, Neil really came up for me. Like, in the comments, Neil was like, I know Chris personally, he wouldn't be lying. Neil van der Merwe, you know.
Your
sick.
alt account.
Yeah, yeah.
Chris.
Neil, send a message, please.
Catfishing.
No, shout out Neil. Legend. This picture makes me laugh.
That's us in the bus in Dubai.
Yeah, really. This was good times.
Remember how wild it was in the bus? It'd start like this like low chant. It'd be like, Eunice, Eunice. And then it would slowly be like, Eunice, Eunice, Eunice. And then it was like, Eunice.
Eunice, the bus
And he was our bus driver.
He's the bus driver.
And I mean, this poor oak, there were BMXs in the middle of the row, and you just crowded in this bus. We were in for like 6-8 hours a day. And luckily, you never crashed that thing. I remember some fairly hairy moments in it. But I think that was probably, I think it was after a night out.
But I mean, we hyped up Eunice a lot. So.
Yeah. I love that chant. Let's start low. I think,
who started that, dude?
I don't know.
Probably you.
I don't know. I think the B-boys as well were a part of that.
And you know what's the other crazy thing, bro? Like this guy, GVB, he's like part of Christian Skaters now, so I've got quite a like strong connection with him now, you know. And the funny thing is, like us 4 rollerbladers, I can't remember who the other 2 rollerbladers were.
It was Herman and Steve.
Yeah. And we ended up in a room.
Yes.
With only 1 skateboarder because we had to be 5 guys in the room. So GVB was like the only skateboarder in our room.
Yes.
You know, and I still ended up sharing like a double bed with GVB, bro.
I filmed that.
You know?
I was like early morning knocking and I'm like, look at this.
But so many years afterwards, this guy is like really plugged into Christian Skaters now.
Amazing.
You
I was wondering where he is and how he's doing.
Yeah,
he was such a cool guy to hang out with.
And he didn't have a problem hanging out with you. He became like almost like one of the rollerbladers.
Yeah. Remember he had that big teddy bear on the way home, like almost took up its own seat in the plane. And that other dude's Christy Via.
Yeah, Christy, man.
I mean, he's still skating and stuff. I haven't seen him in years, but I imagine he's still around. I don't know. Pretoria side, probably.
No, he's in Cape Town. Yeah, but he had a very bad bike injury, so his elbow. He still skates. Yeah. But he almost lost his arm. Right. And if I can tell you guys a quick story, like his brother, a little bit before this, his brother passed away. And he was on this trip. He was still broken, really. Is it? And by this time, I already gave my life to the Lord. And I was chatting to him quite a bit, and he was. I wanted to talk to him like more intensely, like about life, because I could see he was struggling, and he started asking me some stuff, you know. And before we flew back from Dubai, I prayed and I asked God if I can sit next to him. And I was like, it's quite a crazy prayer to pray, right? What's the chances? And anyways, when we got on the plane, I asked him, Chrissy, what's your seat number? And he's like, I'm like 17C, you know, and I'm like, oh, I'm 17A. I'm like, that was so close, you know, I wish we could sit next to each other. And then when we got onto the plane and to take our seats, our row was the only row that didn't have a B seat, you know, because some of the rows had to be smaller for...
Yeah, when you're in the front.
In the front, right in the front, you know, it's only 2 seats. And I ended up sitting next to him. Oh, and I think it wasn't from Dubai to South Africa. I think it was still from Johannesburg to Cape Town, you know. Okay. So it was a bit shorter. It was only like that 2-hour flight. But I ended up sitting next to him, and I mean, he could talk to me and ask me a lot of things, like, you know, where do I think his brother is now, like, you know, because it's a massive thing losing your brother. Really. Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but my mind was blown that I ended up sitting next to him. Yeah. You know? It's just like, wow, that's full-on miracle, really. Yeah.
Oh man, shout out to Chrissy. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's the Dubai boys.
Yeah, dude.
Herman?
Oh, you guys look young there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was actually thinking about it yesterday. You know, I said in the last episode, like Herman and I were the old guard here. But actually, that was just in our minds. Like, we still had so much more. Like, if I think now, this was 2006 or 7. I can't remember. Probably 6. I think this was the first time we went. Because the second time Matt came.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but...
Who went on the second one?
Second one was me, Matt, and you and Steve, wasn't it? Or did the lineup change? Or Herman...
Yeah,
I can't remember.
It's bad.
It's bad. It's bad.
It's a long time ago.
You know, to sort of think that we were kind of at that retirement stage here is like ridiculous and completely, just sort of, you know, a little bit delusional. You know, we still had so much more, and I'm not too sure why we felt like
you weren't old. You're just tired.
So did you feel at this point you were like kind of at the end of your...
Yeah, like I didn't feel like I had like, you know, pushing to the next stage would have been like probably trying to learn like 900s. And I think on this trip, or just before this trip, I'd learned forward 720s, and that was quite big for me because I'm not
that's sick.
Big spinner era. But yeah, I was like, yo, I don't think I've got like much more to give, you know. And I was filming, so I wanted to like be on that side.
Into that a lot,
and wanted to bring in skates and like make a business out of it. If I can support myself off this, that would be really great.
Yeah. I still remember your line. If there's like a street section or a street spot, and we're like, let's go skate it, and then your line was like, sweet, I'll film.
Yeah. No, if Yerks was skating, I was happy to film. And I mean, I mentioned it in the last show with Morgan, but the street skating you guys did there was pretty gnarly, man. You guys like really killed it.
A lot of spots, eh?
Yeah, and I'm glad we had a camera along to capture it. Otherwise, it just would have been nice memories. But we can actually look back and be like, wow. Especially that double
Massive
drop
rail.
That's all stereotype, isn't it?
No, that's just in the Dubai edit.
Oh, yeah, Monsters.
Monsters had Dubai edits in it.
Did it? I might have had some clips of Chris actually doing that double kink. Yeah, you're right.
Maybe worked it into that. But I remember Steve and I would just like, we would like feed off each other, you know.
Yeah,
big time.
I was like, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? It's good, it was good.
We got the Ninja Turtles.
That's how we were. So everyone would like meet in the morning, you know, like, okay, meet at the bus at 8 a.m. or whatever. And really, I don't know, it just felt like it was a good idea to do that. Rollerbladers are weird.
We had loads of fun there.
Yeah, we had so much fun, bro. We each put a letter on our head. What is yours there? Mine's Q, and then there's H,
Steve,
S, and what is yours?
Herman. It looks like one.
But I mean, what I loved is the eye holes, bro. Chris's eye hole was like on his ear. That was the sleeves from our Mountain Dew shirts.
Yeah, and the mud coming through there.
So funny.
That's sick. That picture
good
makes me
times.
laugh.
This is the only time I've ever snowboarded
Same,
in my life.
same.
So cool.
Yeah.
How was it
It's
snowboarding?
so funny if someone asks you if you snowboarded, you're like, yeah.
I did,
Only in
but
Dubai.
in a mall in Dubai. yeah.
And it's
It
difficult.
was a lot of fun. For me, it was. I think if you've skated or something, skateboarded or something, you know?
Funny story. So we sat on these things going up, and then we looked down and we just saw this guy like just going straight, like going it, like not doing like the
Just slowing down.
slowing down and doing the carves, you know, and we just see the guy, but like stylish, bro, like going down, like crouching like that, and we're like, what is that, John? And then it's John, bro, just going.
I was like a bullet. I didn't carve at all. I just like sit on my board basically. And I remember the officials came to me and they were like, listen, bro, you're actually dangerous doing that. Like, you can't go down the hill like that. You're going
You
too
could kill
fast.
someone.
But I didn't know how to carve. So I was like, I can probably stay up if I just go straight. You know how quick
The
it is?
bullet train, yeah.
It looked sick.
So funny. Oh,
Got tuned.
Didn't you go into the barrier at the end
I
also?
think I hit the barrier at the end. Yeah, I think that's when you came to me and was like, listen, dude, you need to pump the brakes a little bit.
Like I had
Like,
thought,
we're going to put you on the
he's probably
beginner
gonna
slope
like do this massive stop in the air and hit it.
through the barrier.
And did
And
you
they were
get
like,
Brent with a snowball right here?
Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
I loved it when you guys had Mel on to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So good
cool.
to catch up with her.
She's actually on our prayer group.
Oh,
Okay.
excellent.
On our organization's prayer group, right? So it's cool that we still have contact.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, a lot of Dubai. Yeah, I remember having some deep chats there, Chris, on our
On the
flights.
flights.
Yeah,
Well, you have
it was
to,
good.
you-
Yeah, well, you 12 hours sitting, however long it was. I don't remember how long the flight.
Yeah, the
10
small
hours
talk only
maybe.
goes for so long.
Yeah.
And it gets real.
Yeah,
I think
but
those flights are like 10 hours.
I feel sorry for all the other passengers on that plane because it was a rowdy bunch to be stuck in a cabin with for 10 hours.
That's for sure.
But that's also where we got to know Greg.
Greg Illingworth, yes.
Because he was the only guy that came with me to the first X Games in China.
Okay.
And it was just cool not going by yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Another South
Just
African.
staying with him in a hotel, and but Mal organised everything for us. Which
She
was
was
also
so good at
very helpful.
organising those trips.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
remember also.
Yeah. Well, she did like I think the first 2 for me. After that, I was on my own, you know. But I mean, she showed me the ropes, you know. So.
I mean, I think we'll get some X Games pics. So yeah, I'd dig to hear about how that came about and your experience of that.
Yeah, sure.
Your
Jaws.
party time. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory there. I remember that rail.
So what was the story with painting this rail?
Hey, dude, so after I got saved, I was like, you can't be messing up people's stuff, you know? Like, I felt convicted, bro. I was like, you can't skate like a street spot and leave it like all chipped.
I'm damaging their property.
Yeah, you know, full on, it's not right. So when I would skate like a spot, I would first look at it and be like, okay, is this something that's going to get damaged or not? And if it's not, then it's cool, like I can skate, or if it's maybe someone's private property or whatever. And this was like, I knew I was going to chip this rail. But this was also, so Eric would laugh, he was doing like really so funny. The other photo, I don't know if you have that photo, but the other photo was where I washed a ledge that I skated also, and I made, so he's like, the photo is me like washing,
cleaning the wax in the old frame.
and all the marks, all the skid marks, you know. Yeah, this was for, I don't know if you guys remember, Carla brought out that magazine, the My Culture magazine.
Yes.
That was from the My Culture Resurrection Jam that she did with Eugene, which was also quite cool because it actually like, it's that whole thing comes from, you know, the resurrection of Jesus, and they started a contest for that, you know, and that's also it sparked a lot of what I'm in today for me, you know, and this was one of the photo shoots, I think, for the My Culture magazine, you know. I don't know if it's this exact one because I think I had other clothes on in the photo, so maybe it's not this one. But this was the same rail.
Yes.
It's a drop rail and did alley top acid.
Yes, we've got that somewhere. I just don't know what.
Oh,
there it is.
Yes.
Oh, I got the same clothes on. I thought I had different. So it is the same day. And yeah, I just thought like this would be like a cool trick to do. Oof. But the crazy thing is like that little spot there is gravel.
Yeah.
So when you come off the end, you have to jump into.
Oh.
So you have to.
You actually had to clear that section over there.
Clear this section here
Oh,
to
man.
really to make it. So
to land it nicely.
And it was quite scary because it had a drop on that side.
And it's very steep, right?
Yeah.
And it's very steep, yeah.
And
this is on top of a wall, so that also makes it extra.
Dude, that is a
This is in
sick
Cape Town,
trick
right?
to do that.
This is in Stellenbosch.
Okay,
Stellenbosch, yeah.
We
So
definitely went there, and I don't think I skated it because it was like
Scary.
super scary. Yeah, but I remember other exceeding it.
But you know the in-spin sole that I did?
It's the same place.
It's the same place,
Yes.
but you had to jump the fence. And we jumped the fence everyone jumped the fence for that contest. yeah. And it's just around the corner from this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can even the picture kind of depicts it. But I remember your technique for this, like the way you do it specifically, was getting not your topside foot on first.
Oh, yeah.
You'd get this one on.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, whew, if that other foot doesn't connect, you're in trouble. But you had a way of keeping it safe somehow.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
that
kind
trick
of like
on such a hectic rail, I remember just being blown away. And it was like a no-brainer to be like, we need to push this guy, support his skating as much as we can in whatever way we can.
Yeah, because you were pushing the scene at this time, just like doing the sickest stuff. And so, is that your frontside torque foot? So you kind of rely on that a
I
little
would
bit.
do Unity first, Savannah first.
Yes.
And it's also my torque foot.
Yeah.
So I would almost do this trick as a torque, So if I do miss my back foot, I would kind of be on my torque foot,
Yeah.
So that's why it became like a bit of a safer trick for me,
Styled as well.
Yeah.
You can even see how my torque foot is like, it's locked in,
Yes.
Because I knew if I miss this, my torque foot has to be like locked in.
And Eric took this picture.
Yeah, Eric took it. Eric took such good
What a
Amazing
composition.
Yeah.
And the lighting, just fantastic.
Eric's probably the best photographer when it comes to extreme sports.
So good,
sure.
man.
And I mean, they even played rugby in the back, and a lot of those guys started watching, like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
No, people used to love watching when we were doing some burly stuff in the streets. Like, it's a spectacle.
Totally. Yeah.
And also, I don't know if they're not hoping, but they're just like, dude, are these guys going to get hurt? Like, it's pretty scary. But you just keep going at it. You would fall and get up and do it again. And it's Man, I love this picture. It's so great. So yeah, tell us about this story over here, Chris. Where is this park?
Yeah, so, man, Herman actually plays a bit of a role in this thing. Because, so after Pretoria, in my last year in Pretoria, I realized that, like, you know, I'm living for skating and that's the only thing. But I had a bit of a desire to give my life to the Lord, you know, and I just haven't done it, like, because I knew, like, I'm going to Cape Town and I want to see if I can maybe find a church over there and things like that. And so very early when I came to Cape Town, like, I went to a church, and the first church I went to, I gave my life to the Lord, and then it felt like God was saying, like, you have to stop skating, you know. So I knew, like, skating was number one in my life and not God, you know. So I told God I'll stop skating. Like, I just, you know, because I realized it's not going to be fulfilling enough, you know. It fulfills you a bit, and then it drops you again, like the same with, like, bodying, whatever, you know. It fills you up, and then it drops you again. And I realized I need something to fulfill me, and I realized only God can do that. And then, like, it was probably like a week. I stopped skating for like a week, but by this time I was skating every day. You know, I'd go to Steve's house, and we would almost skate every day. And then I stopped skating for like a whole week. And Steve phoned me and he's like, "Chris, where are you, bro? Like, you haven't been to my house for like a week."
Are you okay?
It's been cold turkey.
And but then it was like God gave skating back to me. He's like, "Okay, I just wanted you to change your mind around it. Do it for me. You know, like, it's a gift I've given to you. Just enjoy it. Don't try to, you know, don't take it so seriously that, you know, it's like it becomes like your idol or your God, you know." And then so my mind switched about skating, and I also realized that, you know, maybe I can start skate parks at churches, you know. So I approached my church and I said, well, how about building a skate park, you know, and they loved the idea. But I didn't have anything, I didn't have any money, I didn't have any ramps. And then Herman phoned me, bro, and Herman's like, "Chris, the waterfront is throwing out a skate ramp." And they said anyone can come and get it.
Wow.
And it's that bowl that's in the skate park, you know.
That hole was really
That
nice.
bowl, yeah, dude. So, like, it wasn't, and it was kind of just half of it. But then I phoned my church and I was like, "We need to go get this thing," and they got like trucks and stuff, and we went to go pick up this whole bowl. And we took it to this, they had an old warehouse on their property, the church.
Yes.
And they said, "Okay, you can just dump it in here." And I started cleaning that warehouse. You guys remember the big warehouse?
Yeah, of course.
What was
And,
it? The shed.
It's called the Shed, but we kind of eventually called it Sunskate Stellenbosch, which is like Christian skaters, you know. But back then it was called Sunskate, like S-O-N, like Son of God.
I remember.
It was called Sunskate Stellenbosch.
I think the first one was 2006 or 7.
Yeah, 2007 when we had the Sunskates, we had the Sunskate Nationals.
Yeah, because Alex Groll then was
Finished.
over.
Yeah.
And we still came down, as we were so used to coming down in December for the Alex Groll. Remember, we came down and we stayed at Garrett's mom, actually. She was still living in Tiger Valley. And we shared a room.
Bedmate.
A bed. And yeah, we came down to skate your contest and also wrecked myself the first day. I think I aired the box and my wheels went through the masonite and kind of just through. Remember, my hands, I was bleeding, but like both sides, because I fell
I remember the picture.
with my hand on my chest. So I hit the ground here and then just slid on my hand.
This part of the park, the other park was the smooth side of the warehouse, and this side of the warehouse was so rough. Like, it was still,
Okay, so sorry, I cut you off. You got the bowl from the waterfront. Herman gave you a heads up.
So, I mean,
how did Herman know?
Someone told him, and then he, for some reason, told me. Oh, we actually, when I moved from Pretoria to Cape Town, at first I was supposed to move in with Steve at some place, and that fell through. And then Herman was like, "Well, come and move in with me," you know. So Herman and I shared a room.
No way.
Oh, awesome.
I didn't know that.
In 2006, you know, we shared a room.
Whereabouts? Where were you guys staying?
Right in Kloof next street.
Yeah.
Oh, in that house.
It's Yeah, in the
At the
house,
top.
next to the Super Red. You know
Yeah,
that house?
Yes,
yeah.
we
Yeah.
stayed there. Well, Herman stayed there for quite some time then because we used to like crash outside his room in the passageway. There'd be mattresses, and we'd just sleep on the mattresses outside
Yeah,
his
the
room.
The year
you know?
that Nick broke his collarbone is when we were all there, like
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
place.
Okay, so you were, that's
Yeah, dude. Stayed
that was a
in
wild
that
house.
Yeah, dude, and that's the house that I got saved in, bro.
Okay.
You know, I was still staying with Herman at that point, you know, and I just like stopped thinking, like, and Herman was just like, like observing it.
Was Xander living there at the time? Jack
Yes.
Parrow before he really
No,
like
not at
took off.
that, not when I
Oh,
was there.
so
I
when
think
you
he
were there,
was
when
there.
we were there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was living next door to Herman. They're upstairs.
Yeah.
I think there's 2 rooms upstairs.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
Yeah.
Yo, this
Um,
trick is pretty sick though. Like,
But yeah, so this was at the contest, right?
Yeah,
this was
yeah.
at the contest, yeah. And then what happened was, so we have this bowl, and the church is like, well, we can't give you money, you know, and I'm just like, well, I'm going to use whatever I get, you know, to build a
Yeah.
park. So this is like some of the, because the one side
Pallets.
of the, that's pallets
Yeah.
that I got from the warehouse next door, and these were like the refrigerator walls, you know, like those insulated walls that the other part of the warehouse used to use for like storage, you know, like it was kind of like
Insulation.
you know, so I used that. It was actually like very smooth. Well, it was just a bit bouncy. And these are like old quarter pipes that I think I got from someone. So I just used everything I could, scraps everything, just put it up there.
Yeah.
The park eventually became a lot better, but at this point it was very DIY. And I just looked at it and I was like, how sick would it be if you can launch onto, you know, and grind that whole thing.
Oh, did you launch out of that
I
one?
launched out of this.
I
quarter
thought
pipe.
you came straight at it from the middle one.
Launched
No,
the
he
quarter
grinded
pipe,
that
grinded
wall.
the wall and landed into that little
Into the
steep-
far one?
into that
Oh,
little
damn.
steep. Yeah.
scary
I think
days.
Neil still made like a nice edit of this whole thing, you know.
Yeah, I also
remember
got an
he made
edit
that.
of it.
He made that movie, yeah,
Mm.
Man, what a story.
yeah.
Oh, that's a sick photo.
Yeah,
I
that's-
take your shadow on
Yeah.
the wall. That's
Eric
who's
also-
that? Eric.
Yeah,
also took
Eric.
this one, yeah.
Unbelievable.
What a
This
picture.
was like one of the last. When I look at this, I'm almost a little bit sad because I feel like this was one of my last like proper street sessions where I was still like,
Pushing.
yeah, you know. I think I felt like I needed to push out like an edit with like a
High level of scale.
high level of skating. So I went for this trick first, which is switch alley top on.
Whew.
Yeah, and then it was kind of like the warm-up trick to the trick I wanted to do. I actually wanted to do 3 tricks. The next trick was just a true spin alley-oop one, you know, so normal true spin alley-oop one,
Yeah.
which I've done down a rail before, but then when I went for it, I overcommitted and I jumped over the rail, and then I got sacked on this rail. And my dream was actually to come into this with like a 540 kind grind, you know,
Damn.
because I started getting it quite consistently on our park rail, and I thought like, let me take it to like a street rail, you know. So that was kind of like the dream. But then after I missed that trick and got sacked, and also I'm like the only guy skating, which is like
Just you and Eric.
it's only me and Eric here, bro. And that it was very hard to get like motivated, and the scene was also a little bit dead by this time. The only thing that kept me going was the international scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
But locally it was a little bit dead,
yeah.
and it took a bit of the motivation out of me to skate street very hard.
Yeah.
You know, I think I was also a bit older and wanted to get married, and you know, I started moving in that direction.
Yeah.
You know.
No, because the real vibe was when you're skating with the other guys and you're getting so hyped up on like
Yeah.
what they're trying, and
Yeah.
it's making you want to progress yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's just you, it feels more like a
You
chore
have to
almost.
really
and
like be in your own mind and
Yeah.
like really like
you have to really want
Yeah.
it, and yeah, it's difficult if you're not skating with the homies.
yeah. I mean, with the homie, she many times didn't even need a camera, you know. Only later on it was like cool if I can get a photo or a video of this would be cool, you know. But in the beginning it was just like the homies
Yes,
were enough.
exactly.
Just to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. They were the witnesses.
Yeah.
No, there was so much stuff before we had cameras where we all saw it together, and there's no evidence that it ever happened. And like Matt and I used to say, like, man, I wish I just had like a camera in my eye that could record everything we had ever seen, because it was just like incredible stunts
Yeah,
and
really.
crazy things. And then you're right, like later on it becomes more about, oh, I'm not going to try this really difficult thing unless someone's filming.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's not worth it, or
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fucking scary, man.
Yeah.
Which changes it a bit. It's not like as much for the love anymore.
Yeah, if it feels like you need to put something out because you want to keep your sponsors happy, I mean, there's still an element of motivation to it, but it does change the perspective.
It's more the stick instead of the carrot.
Yeah.
It's way better if you have to do that filming for a sponsor when you've got homies skating with you
Yeah.
all the time. When you're on your own,
Yeah.
it's very demotivating.
Mm.
I also skated for a while, solo.
Solo
that
missions.
ain't easy. So maybe this is a good point to sort of understand more, or you can elaborate on, like, okay, so the Cape Town scene was dying a bit. Alex Groll was done. The Sunskate Nationals, how many years did that go for?
So since 2007, when I did that first one, I haven't stopped really, like every year.
Every year.
But,
Wow.
but the name has
The
changed.
name has changed.
So it went Sunskate Nationals maybe for,
That's
2 or 3
amazing, bro.
years.
Well done.
and then we started
I didn't realize it's the same sort
Inspired
of.
to Become.
Yeah.
You know, when we started Inspired to Become. So what actually happened was when I built that skate park at my church, for the first year, I just did it kind of like voluntarily, you know. And then the church after a year were like, okay, we'll employ you now, you know. So they employed me for 3 years doing like the skate park as part of our church's ministry, you know.
Like a youth.
Youth ministry,
okay.
like we had youth services inside the skate park. They started giving
That's
me
so cool.
money to fix up the park,
Yeah.
like, and that's why the
Amazing.
park got really nice, you know. We had the stage in the back.
Yeah.
And then after 3 years of working with them, they said, okay, well, you know, we're cutting some staff, you know, and that's where I felt like I need to, me and my brother, we actually said, let's start this organization together, which is a non-profit organization or non-profit ministry. And then we started calling Sunskate Nationals the ITB Year-End Cup.
Yes.
So ITB Year-End Cup has been running every year since. You know.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
You haven't missed a year.
No, I
You-
haven't missed
I
a
mean-
year, really.
That's incredible.
Amazing.
And I mean, obviously, you included also, even from that first one, I think, there was skateboarding and BMX and rollerblading. From
So Sunscape Nationals already had.
it was all disciplines, yeah.
But now it's got everything. Now it's even got
Scooters.
scooters.
Yeah.
Riding. BMXing normally there's like will be like 1 or 2 guys. You know?
Yeah.
So BMXing is not very big, but then everything else there's like always a contest. You know.
But I mean, I don't know any other rollerblading event that has been consistent since then. So that's a lot of, dedication from your side.
And
yeah,
I
thanks,
think
bro.
I've made peace with it that, you know, like
It just
if
is
it's
what it is.
if there's, because sometimes we'll have like not a lot of guys, let's say from Cape Town there, but then there's like 10 of my groms there, you know, and it's a blast, really.
Yeah.
And I see how they progress and I see how amped they are. So it's like what you guys had in Kailami,
Yes.
obviously on a smaller scale, but it's our little community there, you know,
Yes.
and,
No, it's a
and
blessing.
we're feeding off each other. And I mean, we can't force the guys from other areas to come, you know, we can have it and it's there, you know, and who
Yeah.
comes and we just keep on doing it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so cool, bro. Much
You're going to be
respect.
coming up on 20 years soon.
Yeah, hey.
That's wild.
Yeah, crazy, really.
That's a rad photo.
So cool.
Yeah.
So the day you got married, you brought your blades with.
Hey, dude, even in the ceremony,
Yes, I saw some photos.
when we opened the dance floor, I came in with my rollerblades. There was
Yeah.
like 2 stairs, and I 180'd off the 2 stairs. And you can see, I've got my black pointy shoes on. Where's my shadows?
Oh,
No!
That's my
So-
fancy shoes.
Yeah, so when I came in to
Yeah.
open the dance floor, I just strapped off my skates and just chucked the skates. Frank, you were
Yo,
there.
that
That's not
is
a dance
smooth,
Frank
bro.
was at my wedding,
That is
yeah.
so smooth.
Strapped the skates off, threw it to the side, and then the song changed. You know, it was like this heavy song when I came in, and then it changed into like a bit more of a
Dance song,
romantic
yeah.
dance song.
Oh,
and
man,
then my
cool.
wife and I opened it. You know,
That's
very
so
cool. It was
cool,
cool.
bro.
Yeah.
yeah, man. I mean, the fact that I met Yami, that changed my life. You know,
Yeah.
so my priorities in life is God, and then my wife,
Family,
you know,
yeah.
and then my kids. But I mean, dude, having to, I think that's where I started realizing like skating isn't, you know, like everything. Like I wanna build a family, and it became less important for me to travel and go do contests. I had this dream, like since I started going to the Asian X Games, because I always do it by myself. Like even I didn't have like even a lot of rollerbladers to share it with. You know, sometimes someone would ask me how was it, whatever. You know, but I realized I wanted to share it with my wife, and it became my dream to take my wife one day with to the Asian X Games. And then I think it was the second last one, and then she came with.
Cool.
And we did that whole experience together, you know, and
So special.
so that was like a highlight in my life, bro.
Yeah.
Just having her there with me, experiencing the whole thing, you know.
That must have been so amazing having with you if you've been doing it alone.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
now your person is there.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And then to, I think like I said afterwards, I almost not felt like maybe how you felt. Like I kind of feel like I did not achieved what I wanted to, but like I'm happy. I'm content with what God has given to me in skating, and I can start focusing a bit less on competitive skating. You know? Yeah.
Oh man, that's a wonderful story.
That's not Takeshi. That's Eto.
Oh,
yes.
Eto, yeah.
Yes.
I didn't say Takeshi, but they were both there, Takeshi and Eto.
Correct. Yeah, that was so rad. I remember we had those Mountain Dew shirts that they gave us, and I still have mine, and we got all the guys to sign.
Oh, wow.
And I think we signed each other's.
Yeah.
Remember? We were like, Chris, sign us. So we got all the signatures from everyone we met, and
Because how crazy was it? We had to sit behind tables, and the fans would come, and we can
For
sign.
us.
So this was autograph signing, wasn't it? Oh, was
Yeah, but I thought we were waiting in line to meet him. I don't think
maybe we didn't sit behind the tables, but some of the fans would still come to us afterwards and
Yes.
ask us for signatures
Possibly.
after the show, you know?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, but I was never like a formal sit down. Yeah.
No.
Sorry,
Maybe, if it is, I didn't remember that. But it was really cool to meet these sort of legends and heroes in
I
skating,
mean,
especially
those
board
guys are
skating.
still going, bro. Like,
Yeah,
they're still
yeah.
killing it.
Absolutely.
Also, after like how many years? It's been
Yeah.
like over 30 years.
yeah.
I mean, there's almost no one better on Bert, I think, than those two.
But Eto or Takeshi brought it over to street also, so
Yes.
he incorporates the bird stuff into the street.
Mm.
Because they've built this massive street park where they have the vert ramps and they have this huge street park. And
Yeah.
the way he skates it
Yeah.
is the way he skates vert.
Yeah, I've
Big
seen it.
is,
It's a beautiful
And,
park
yeah,
as
it's
well.
crazy.
Looks amazing.
Mm.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I want to know about this.
High school
So
days.
this was my whole high school career was at this school.
Yeah.
And I've already started rollerblading when I started coming to the school. So we would sometimes grind this stuff in the back over here, and then
Okay.
we'd leave some marks there, and the teacher would be like, "What's this shoe? What's this shoe?" And I'm like, "No, look how high it is." And he's like, "Oh."
So there were other rollerbladers in your school, or no?
Yeah. We
Okay.
had a little crew going.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I would walk past. We would like when in between periods when you go to different classes, I would walk past this gap, and I would think to myself, one day I want to gap down this. You know, I want to start from the bottom there, skate down, and gap over this.
Hectic.
So think about it a lot, you know.
Hectic.
And then this was literally like the last day of high school, you know,
Okay.
before you start your exams. You
Yes.
know? And I remember it was the last day, and I phoned my friend, and I was like, bring your camera. I'm going to take my skates to school.
Yeah.
Yo.
And I took my skates, and this was break, and it was right at the end of break, because I was so nervous, really.
Yeah.
And then I just said, okay, I'm going to do it. So I put my skates on, I put my skates down on top, threw my shoes down, so it landed here by the bags or something. And then I just said, make sure there's no one, you know.
Yeah, this is it.
And then he was standing ready with the camera, and he was telling everyone, make space.
But now then
So
everyone's
these
watching
people-
because
So you can't see this, but there's like
Whole crowd.
the whole school's almost like
Is it?
standing here in like half a circle, you know.
Yeah.
This is
Hectic,
it's
bro.
in break, really.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting down there at the end of that corridor, you know. I'm waiting there, and I'm like, okay, I need to do this now, and it's like now or never, because you're jumping over a rail, you know. I can't back out. And then the bell rings, and when the bell rang, I knew, okay, this is
Go.
it. Really. and I started skating. As I'm skating, like some of the teachers even started coming out of the, like wherever, like the offices, you know, they started coming out. That's one of our teachers down there.
Yeah.
Our headmaster was also standing. For some reason, people were there. My dad even came to the school to pay like school fees, and he saw me. He also came. It's so weird that there were so many people there.
In this one moment.
Yeah, in that one moment. And well, this is another weird thing that happened. This girl didn't know what was going on, you know.
Almost
so
like
she came
deer
out
in
of
the headlights.
crowd. Yeah, you know. But I just started gunning in, and I saw the rail, and I jumped this rail, and then I did like a safety grab.
Yeah, still managed
you know?
the safety grab.
Yeah, safety grab.
And forward.
Yeah, forwards, bro, just straight forwards.
Which is more hectic
also
to me.
more
I think,
hectic.
yeah,
I know.
I think I'd rather land.
But back then it was like, that's, you know, I'm just doing the
The
gap.
safe
I'm not
option,
doing-
yeah.
You know. And then as I go over this rail, I just see this girl. She had black hair. I just see this black hair coming into, and that, I thought I was going to land on her head.
Oh
you
my
know.
word.
But then, luckily, what happened was I landed like right in front of her and went into her, and then I fell. So I didn't land the trick, but it was kind of like okay, because if the girl didn't come
Obstruction.
out, yeah, you know, if the girl didn't come out of the crowd and I jumped this thing and I just crashed at the bottom, and be like, oh, great attempt, but
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, this was.
and now it was like I did the thing and I could have maybe landed because it was a one-time only thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the girl got in the way, and he maybe would have landed it if the girl didn't come in
Yo.
the way, because I doubt that I would. The impact was so intense.
Yeah.
Yo. No,
that
it's huge.
That I doubt if I would have landed it, you know.
Mm.
So it kind of worked out that the girl came in front of me. But bro, even the jocks came afterwards. They were
Yeah.
like, "Dude, like that was
That was
crazy.
sick.
That was sick, you know." And another guy had a camera there. We actually had a bit of a sequence going. You know, I
cool.
tried to get those photos, but it was only on one of those stiffies. You know, those
Yeah.
stiffy discs. What do you call this
Really?
thing, you
Yeah,
know? And I
yeah.
had that disc for a long time, but it was also cool that he had his own camera there and he took some shots.
Yeah.
You know.
That's mad. And did you get in trouble afterwards?
Well, the headmaster actually, because I landed and I went straight into the crowd, and then it was quite a quick land. I didn't fall and I was lying there because I had so much momentum. When I went into it, it was almost like I slid. Because
yeah.
I went really fast because I knew by this time I've done a couple of gaps. I've done a couple
the
of
speed
roof
helps.
gaps. And I was like, the faster you go,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
easier you're going to land
Yeah.
this, you
Yeah.
know. So I
Less
went really
impact.
fast. I mean, look where she is.
Yeah.
And that's where the pillar is. I gapped like a proper couple of meters, you know. And I kind of got straight. That guy actually took a clip of it, because I remember the clip was like I would land, I would disappear in the crowd, and then I would appear at the end of the crowd. So it looked like I landed it, you know, on that little clip that he took. And then the headmaster called me, and he was like, don't do this at home, you know, don't do this at the school. And it was like, that's all he said. So I was
Yes, sir.
like, yeah, yes sir.
And they still
take
talk
that.
about the legend of Chris Van Der Merwe at this school to this
But
day.
we had quite a good relationship, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's
That's a
crazy,
picture.
man. Yeah, that's so cool.
Have you literally got a tie
You
on?
did, yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
you didn't even take your tie off.
I wanted to be in my school clothes. That was part of the
Yeah.
whole thing.
You should have worn the blazer,
Yeah.
bro. Did you have a blazer for
I
your
had
school?
one. Yeah. But this was in summer, you know. So,
Yeah.
It's too hot.
yeah.
Oh man, that's
No, amazing.
such a cool story.
And this was kind of the same deal. It was like the only road. We didn't have rails in my town, you know, in the Free State.
Yeah.
And this was one of the only rails in my town. So obviously, you know, growing up, rollerblading, thinking of seeing this.
One day I'm gonna
and
do
like,
it.
one day before I leave this town, I need to do this rail. I can't leave this town without doing this rail, you know. So it was also right before I went to university. I was like, let's go do this rail, you know. So I did the silk grind down, and
Sick.
Looks
also
like,
like Kodak camera, you know.
Yes.
This is just scanned in from a proper
Yeah, yeah.
photo, you know.
And quite a decent drop off on the
Yeah,
side.
yeah, it had
That's
like
like a
a
hectic
proper
rail.
story.
That's pretty
So
scary.
It's
Yeah.
quite a hectic rail. It's like this thin, really, like
And those thin ones
Super
are mad
fast.
fast.
yeah,
Yeah.
super fast.
Yo, so you didn't launch right off the kink.
No, no.
No,
I
that's
would
sick.
go up to it like very slow, like
Yeah. Control the.
yeah.
And that's not a man bun, eh? That's a.
No, that's a beanie that sat high. I mean, look, but like, I mean, no shin guards, nothing really.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. I've seen those bare
first
naked
time,
shins there.
I didn't wear anything like
Yeah,
until
back
I
then, we were all just
realized.
like, pads are for losers.
Until you split your shin open.
Oh, which I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yo, that's a sick spot. I remember that spot.
This photo is, my wife took this photo. Hey?
Wow,
Oh,
dude,
man.
that is a
Yeah.
beautiful photo.
Yeah,
really
'cause
in focus, sharp as well.
She's not like a, she did a bit of wedding photography, you know, and then this was also like my last, one of my last street like stuff, you know, because what's that, the magazine, Roll One, you guys remember?
One.
Just one,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
Roll
one mag.
one mag, you know.
Yeah.
I think they started going online, and I think it was them. I could be mistaken, or it could have been BMag. I'm not sure. Either one of the two.
Oh yes.
And they said they've been doing things of like guys getting their local spots with like a photo and a bit of an article, and they asked me to do one.
Awesome.
And I tried to think of a spot that's maybe not that hectic down rail, and we used to skate
Session.
this spot quite a bit.
Where is that spot?
It's in
in
Strand.
Okay.
In Strand. So
Wow.
it's actually very close to my house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember skating there with Tristan and a bunch of dudes
It's
back in
actually
the day.
such a
Eric.
fun spot. Man.
Yeah, when we were filming for Stereotype.
Yeah.
It's things
Nice
like if you
session.
have a crew to skate stuff like this, because you know this was also just me and my wife, you know.
Yeah.
And now the trick I did was like back Roy on this straight pod, and then true top acid
Yeah.
up, you know. Which
Oh,
I wanted to
sick.
do something that's a little bit hectic and not just like a. But this was also like one of the last things I did that was like street related and a bit more intense, you know.
Mm.
Really nice picture.
Yeah, beautiful pic.
I like it also.
Awesome. And this said Woodward.
Yeah. So I think this was one of the things that also kind of kick-started my international career, you know, because Mel helped me to get to the first X Games in 2008.
In Asian X Games.
Yeah, Shanghai, the Asian
Okay.
X Games.
And
Yeah,
but
it was
did-
the only X Games that still had rollerblading.
Yes.
Yeah.
But did you have to qualify for that?
Yeah, they had that Rand Easter show, or the Rand Easter contest, and which was like the national. So well, they were still actually a nationals happening.
Yeah.
But that was the nationals in 2008, you know.
Yes.
So it just wasn't at Kailami anymore, and it was way
Yes,
smaller.
and you were just beating everyone at that time. I remember, like, no one, like maybe Steve and you would battle, but other
Yeah.
than that,
Steve,
like,
I
no
think
one was
Steve
really.
didn't even come to that contest. He started skating less and less at that point, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Neil was skating really good at that
Oh,
contest.
yeah.
He got the 540 kind in the
Yes.
best trick. He won
I
the best
remember
trick
that.
at that contest.
Sick.
I got like in the best trick, I got 450 backslide down that rail. And then we had like, it was like also like jam style, you know.
Is that the one I didn't edit of? No.
I think Neil didn't edit. I'm not sure if
No.
you did, but it was just the stairs and the quarter pipe.
I
So
remember.
it was very like street
yeah,
fight.
yeah,
You had
yeah,
to
yeah,
climb
yeah.
boxes,
I remember that
which
one.
was very
Yeah.
cool. Like it's the way I like to skate also, you know.
Yeah. That was actually
That's
a nice
why I was
little
maybe
setup.
like very comfortable because I like skating like the down stuff. And
It was
had
the later years after our bigger shows that the Rand
made
show
it
had
way
started scaling
smaller.
us down.
Yeah,
And
Exactly.
yeah, we kind of ran that contest. a
It's
little
when
bit.
I just got back, basically.
Okay.
A year after I got back from
yeah,
the UK, then
And-
it scaled down completely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Mal and them said like if you win this, you'll qualify for X Games. They advertised it from the start, you know, BMXing, skateboarding, and
Yeah, it was the
rollerblading.
Wow.
qualifier. It's good.
And then what? The money from that? Well, they'd pay for you to go. Or who?
No,
Who was paying?
It's just you get your
You get
qualification,
qualify,
you gotta fund
qualify.
yourself.
Yeah, you still have to fund yourself,
Yeah.
but you qualify for the X Games.
Okay.
Yeah, which was like
It was
not-
recognized.
Yeah, you can't just go skate the X Games. You know, you have to get in.
You have to win your local qualifier first.
Yeah, or you have to get an invite for the Asian X Games because there's only like 20 spots. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. So what happened was at that X Games, you know, meeting Ryan and all the Australian guys and some of the American guys. I'm still trying to think what Ryan's surname is. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Australian.
Yeah, man.
Ryan Oz.
Ryan Arnold.
Oh,
Ryan
Arnold.
Yeah, Ryan Arnold, you know. Yeah, so him and a couple of the guys kind of, I would ask them, so are you a professional rollerblader? And they would like, well, I'm an AIL pro, you know. and
Which is what is AIL?
which is like
Australian
the
Inline League?
amateur inline league.
Oh,
You know,
amateur.
so at that point, or the aggressive inline
Inline
league.
league.
You know? But at that point, everyone who kind of before they go pro for a skate would first get their
Pro status in that
pro
area.
status at AIL. You know,
Okay.
which was this contest. They would run it every year. All the amateurs would go there, and if you qualify top 10, you get your AIL pro status. You know.
Like a card almost.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of the official. Everyone knew, like all the like,
Amateurs.
yeah, you know, competitive
about it.
rollerbladers knew that this is kind of your
This is your ticket
path.
in.
You know, this is your road to getting
Progression,
to the next
yeah.
thing. You know, and they said, well, you know, try to get to this contest and try to get in there. So
So easy to get there.
yeah, well, you just so anyone can kind of, I think, enter the contest. You know, it's for the amateur. It's like, I think they call it like the open amateur division. You know, there's under 16 and under 18. And, so at that point, rollerblading was still very organized. You know, well, to a degree, and so I applied and I got the scholarship to go and stay at Woodward West, because you can apply for a scholarship.
Sick.
But that's just to stay at Woodward, you know. It's not covering your flights and all of that, you know. So I still had to pay that myself. And then, so then I went to this contest. You had to qualify top 10. So I qualified 8th.
Nice.
Yeah, also like maybe it's a short crazy story about this. Like on the way there, I caught a ride from LA to, because Woodward West is a little bit outside of LA, and I caught a ride, and the traffic was so hectic because practice started at 6 on the Friday night, and the traffic was so hectic.
So
We
bad.
missed the all of the practice, you know, and the comp starts on Saturday.
Yeah.
So when I got there, like I didn't have any practice, you know, and that, like, yo man, it stressed me out. And then I'm like, I came all this way, you know, and then the next day, well, the evening where I stayed, I didn't stay with the guy that I was traveling with, so I stayed in the bungalow with a lot of the younger rollerbladers, and they all came more like to party and to, you know, and so they kept me awake the whole night.
Oh,
And also,
no.
I never knew I had to bring like my own blankets and stuff, you know, so I didn't even have a blanket.
Oh,
I still
what,
remember like
dude?
taking my hoodie as a pillow and and a towel as a blanket, you know. Trying to sleep that evening. It's almost the same as the SA Champs. We were trying to sleep that evening. I couldn't fall asleep because I was so nervous. Like I didn't have proper stuff to sleep on. The kids were like keeping me awake. So that next day I felt like I've got zero energy and I didn't have any practice time.
Yeah.
So before the runs, I had a bit of practice times and I could work out my line. So I kind of knew what I wanted to do. And I remember just asking God, like, please just help me because it feels like I can't skate, you know.
Everything's stacked against me.
Yeah, you know, like, and it's almost you want to have like a nervous breakdown. And you know that time, like you said, before you have to drop in, bro. Now, like everyone, all the pro guys are here. Like you get to this contest and you see Jeff Stockwell and then you see Chris Haffey and then you see, like it's so weird because you just suddenly see all these pros. You know, normally you see like a couple of pros, but now you see like, then you see Frankie Morales and you, like everyone's just there, like everyone, you know, and it's a little bit like
Intimidating.
trippy, bro. And yeah, it feels surreal almost, you know, and you like there by yourself. You've got almost no one that you speak to, bro. You're just almost there in your corner, like so intimidated. You
Underdogs
almost
for
don't
life.
even want to. You almost don't even want to skate, bro.
Yeah.
Like even when you skate, you feel self-conscious, you know. And so I mean, I didn't feel like I can skate this contest, and then my dad still gave me a scripture, you know, saying God will carry you on his wings, you know, or like on the wings of an eagle. And that meant so much to me, bro, because every time like I would go for a trick, in my mind, I would be like, I'm going to bail. So first trick was like a cork 5, you know, and I feel like I'm gonna fall, and I would spin, and I promise you, bro, this was like a supernatural experience to me, because when I would spin, and I would feel like, now you know that feeling like you don't have any confidence, you don't have any energy.
You don't feel like you're in control.
Yeah, and every time I land, I would be like, whoa, I stuck it. And then I go to the next trick, and I honestly feel like I'm gonna fall. Next trick, I would land it. And then and all my tricks, every single trick, and at the end I was so tired, I did like an alley top acid down, like a down row. And I also felt like if I can just stick this last thing, and I just stuck it, and afterwards I was like, what happened? It really felt like almost like it's like for me,
like
it wasn't
you, it was an
for
out
me,
of body.
bro, I promise you, it's weird to explain to people, but you have this one go, and you feel like if you mess this up, bro, like it's like a dream you've had for years, and if you mess this up, and then afterwards it was like this, whoa, what just happened, and then I was like, okay, I don't know if it's going to be good enough. In my second run, what happened? Like, I normally land 900s,
Yeah.
And that was, this is not the fun box, but that launch box is like pretty big. But I couldn't land my 9. I spun 9. So on my first trick, I fell, So I didn't have a good second run. So I only had that first run to stand on, and I didn't know if it was going to be good enough, And that evening, they have this massive ceremony where like they have all the trophies and everything, and all the pros are there, and it's a massive thing, And then they would call out the names, and I kind of didn't really think I was going to make it, but if I make it, I would be like maybe 10th, So they call out 10th, and it's not my name. And they call out 8th, and it's not. They call out 9th, and it's not my name. And I kind of gave up hope, I was like, I probably didn't make it through, and then they call out 8th, and it's my name, and I'm just like, no way. That feeling was. Yeah, it's indescribable. Like, you go to the front. I remember Roman Abrate. He was 7th, so he was the guy just after me, CJ Walsmore was 2nd, so they all skated that amateur contest with me,
Wow.
So it was cool.
So that was the first introduction to qualifying for the X Games.
So I already qualified for the X Games before this, but this got me my pro status. So I could actually, if someone asks me am I pro, I can say like I've got my pro status. I'm not pro for a boot company because that's very hard, and that's only like 10 people in the world, for instance. But I mean, to have a pro status, a lot of people or more people could achieve that, Yeah, and then the next day you automatically enter the pro contest with all the other pros.
Oh man, that's so
which
cool.
was also cool because then I could skate with all the pros. Yeah.
Oh man, that's such an excellent story, and
it's definitely a highlight of like my life.
Of your rollerblading career, certainly. I mean, that's what a relief it must have been when you landed all those tricks in the first run. Just like
it's really, that feeling, it's indescribable.
Oh man, well I'm just cognizant of the time, and I think we've got to wrap it up. But we're so grateful to you, Chris, for everything you've done in the scene. I don't know if you just want to tell us a bit more about Christian Skaters Association and.
Well, what I want to do is I just want to thank you guys for doing this. When you guys started doing this, I was like, oh, this is quite a cool idea, Like, maybe some guys will watch this and to see like all the views, and I think it means a lot to a lot of the guys that's been in the scene, and I've been enjoying it a lot. Like I would put my earphones in and go make some food, and I would be so like intrigued with everything. And every now and then I have to stop and what's this photo you guys are looking at? Sick. So I'm enjoying it a lot. Every time I'm sure you guys get the notifications. Well, the other people get the notifications. That there's a new show out. Like who's on and like what. So it's a lot of fun. So I wanted to thank you guys. Thanks. It's just a little. I want to show you this one thing that's in here. It's like a phone stand, Drew.
Oh, cool.
Like
amazing, dude.
And then you can
watch
film
videos
yourself, or you can film yourself. Maybe if you am to go skate by yourself and you got a trick that you put it on there. You don't have to do the shoot or something.
Thanks so much, bro. I appreciate that, man.
Thank you, bro.
It's always a pleasure, Chris.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, legend. Thank you,
brother. Thank you, man.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, so maybe just in short, like, we started Inspired to Become, which was something that we just wanted to really do to help kids, and especially underprivileged kids, to get into skating, So getting like a lot of secondhand skates, and just started asking friends and stuff. So we started getting all these secondhand skates, and got kids from our communities onto skates, And then we also do some other action sports like skimboarding and surfing and skating. And out of that, I kind of realized, the Christian Skaters Network, which is global, It's kind of in South Africa not as strong, so I took it over in South Africa, and started doing like the whole region, the whole of Africa, you know.
Wow.
So and it's skateboarding, rollerblading, well, scooter riding, anything really.
Yeah.
Called Christian Skaters, and we just kind of network with everyone around Africa that's doing something, and we try to get them together to become part of a network, you know.
Amazing. Is that why I can't remember the guy's name now, but he skated really well at the contest at your park that I came to with Herman, I think. I can't remember his name. I follow him on Instagram. Great dude. And where was he from?
There's a couple of guys. There's Noel from Mozambique is the one guy. And there's Makuka from Zambia.
Amazing.
You know, so it's guys, it's almost like top skaters in their countries, you know, in Africa. And they're running their own CS groups. And we try to get them every year to come to our skate park. They stay at the park for like the whole week, and we learn about skate ministry. We skate together. We visit the parks. Frank has been a little bit part of that. In the beginning, we only did South African stuff, and we would tour around South Africa because we still worked on the network in South Africa, and we would like be like 12 guys staying at people's houses. And one year we stayed at Frank's house, you know. So I mean, it's just a network, and it's like a really strong brotherhood. Yeah. So I think, you know, I still love rollerblading, but for me, it's not about rollerblading anymore. You know, it's really about using what God has given us to go out and to spread the love of Jesus. You know?
Give back to the community.
Yeah.
Oh man, keep up the amazing work, and like we're super proud of you, and thank you for what you do, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, it's great to have you, dude. And I'd just like to say a special thanks to Peter Lambert for helping us out with this episode and supplying us with gear and a facility. And I hope we get to do it again in person sometime, dudes. I mean, I'm sure I'll see Chris a little bit, but I'll miss having you dudes down here. And it's been really rad to do the event and get the show done as well. I'm glad we squeezed it into this short little window that we had. So shot for the efforts, boys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for all your work. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And we really hope you enjoy this episode. We put a lot of effort into it. And keep your eyes out for the skate park edit and maybe some behind the scenes stuff. All right. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.